What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Victor. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Fuji. His name is Rapl. The map is Tundra. This is the final of the Group D group. I believe the winner of this game goes on to the single elimination tournament format. It could be single. I don't know if it's double. I can't remember. But it goes on to it's more of a one-day tournament. You kind of just push through it. And the loser of this game needs to go and fight the winners of the two losers of this group. And then whoever wins that gets to go on to the next portion of the tournament here. Now, we see something incredible. I'm excited. You should be excited, but I'm very excited. This is Rapl, the Odin main turned pseudo-random god player turned Chinese abuser, picking Chinese in the tournament for the first time. It's been a couple of tournaments thus far, and we've really only seen a few players super get into the Chinese, like Pegasus Rush, for example, maybe even like a Shadowfax playing a little bit of Chinese, and Grand Monster there as well. But no one is really, not many of the top top Voobly players have really experimented with the Chinese. So I'm excited to see what Rapl is going to come up with in this game with the Fuji. Now, Victor, on the other hand, he is an EE player and he understands EE a lot, but he did pick Odin here. Now, I assume that he thought maybe picking Odin against Odin would be a good strategy here to try and take out the Rapl, because the Rapple's Odin is immaculate, incredibly strong civilization for him to pick, and Victor taking the map into a little bit of a mirror matchup might seem like a bit of a crazy thing to do, but when it comes down to it, the mirror matchup for the Norse Wars ends up being very, very much about whoever gets to attack their opponent first wins. So it's very build order orientated, and you can sneak some wins from some people not really being fully aware of how important that is. Even if they might play their civilization overall better than you. So to continue here, we see that a bit of a kind of counter-godding, counter-civing has gone on here for Rapl, and we'll see what he's going to be able to do with it. So Fuji against Odin, and if Victor has got any ideas here. Now, we do have a relatively exposed gold mine. It's completely forward food kind of everywhere. We do have kind of back food over here, but that's not back food. You can still attack that. It's not safe food, that is. And yes, that's the situation we are finding ourselves in. Victor has clicked up to the classical age first, it would seem, as Rapl is going to be clicking up just a little bit later here, going for a little bit later advance time. Oh, actually, no, he gets up just before Victor, so no problems there. And we do have the Huangdi versus the Freya, so getting that call to arms out nice and early. This is a bit of a strange storage pit, but it is what it is. And still, I don't see a garden just yet. There's the garden. Very important to get this garden down. I recommend this one coming down as fast as you possibly can to get you as much favor as you can, because in the end of the day, Chinese or Fuji really only wants one garden, and the garden is for domestication, is for I just can't remember upgrades with civilization. I have not seen them enough. Unbridled anger. And palaces. Everything else is kind of not worth it with China, but those upgrades are very strong in this matchup and in many matchups indeed. So Unbridled Anger is kind of like half of a spear on the horizon. So half of the Horus Spearman is what Unbridled Anger is, which might seem like it's not very good, but in the end of the day, it is very good. So now we do see that War Academy is coming down. Now, one of the big bonuses for Fuji is Blessed Construction. If you're unaware about what Blessed Construction does, you pay a little bit of extra resources, which is essentially just paying the cost of the actual building, which would it normally be, and you get the building up incredibly quickly. Not seeing Rapl do that here, but he's got himself the double war academy, and he is going to be going for a couple of immortals and then starting to push out. We see Victor here getting himself out Hersa, and he should be getting some villagers, but he's kind of having some idle villager time, just forgetting to click that there. We have seen Victor go full villagers before, also full gatherers before, but not happening in this game as he's getting out some dwarves to be a little bit safer. As the terracotta warrior walking into his opponent's base, the scout cavalry looking for some picks here as he's going to be getting out of here. And we're seeing Chokonu, we're seeing Halbertier, and we are seeing Rapl effectively playing China as if it is Greek. Which, I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you are against Odin, and the difference being that effectively you're kind of like a weird version of Poseidon in a way. You're not Zeus because you don't have the bonus damage against buildings, but you're not really Poseidon either. But you are, because you've got yourself a really strong heroic age god power. You got yourself a really strong mythic age god power. And you got yourself a really strong classical age god power. Maybe you're more like closely linked to Hades in that regard. Then, so this kind of Athena Rush-esque style from Rapl. We'll see if it's going to work. As Victor is getting himself out raiding cavalry, it's getting himself out Hersa. If I saw this, I would definitely think about just going Hersa, throwing Axemen to fight back, but not happening here for Victor. He's just getting himself units as fast as he can, and we'll see exactly when Rappel's going to use call to arms, because if he uses it early, he might unfortunately hit some of these scout cavalry. When he uses it early and doesn't hit those scout cavalry, so that's very good. And he does jump up to 64 of 75 population here. As we're seeing just a little bit of a lag spike here from Rapl. No good. We might have to pause here and see what's going to happen, but the army is deciding to push in and fight back. Do we see any upgrades just yet coming through for Rapl? No, not just yet. He's keeping his resources incredibly low here. This is what makes certain players so much better than everyone else. Is this macro is so efficient from the Rapl. He's pushing in. We do see watchtowers has come out. Rapl pulling back yet again away from here. He does have a kind of spot that he can kind of shoot in onto this location here, and he's going to be doing that to try and take down those dwarves. And it's nice plays. We are seeing the raiding cavalry come back out, and then the halberdiers will fight away. Halberdiers do have an extra 10% bonus versus the cavalry, so that's very helpful there indeed. As still trying to pick off some of these units, and Victor has pulled off of that gold mine for now, and he's jumped onto his food to just hold off for a little bit longer, but I'm not sure exactly what he can do here. He's starting to look for some raids with the raiding cavalry. More houses coming up for the Rapl, and he is currently situated right in the middle of the map here with those villages, so there could be some big raids coming through for Victor to get some value with his army. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it or not. As now Rapl is going to be swinging around the back just to check those deer or elk or whatever they were are not being gathered from, and he will be greeted by nothing being here. As we do see, the raiding cavalry have found some units. They've found some villages too, as Rapl has to retreat back. This is actually a really big pick here for Victor, and generally speaking, you probably don't even need your villagers out here, because you can just get domestication, which we have seen Rapl forget about, which maybe it's not very good, but it is what it is, unless he's grabbing it. If we can take a look at the production tab. No, he's not, so he has forgotten about it. Being obviously one of the biggest reasons to play, or one of the biggest helping factors in Fuji's kit is that domestication, to really skyrocket your food economy, because it effectively makes sure villagers jump onto something almost as good as hunt without having to leave the base. So this cuts the walking distance and everything else. It's very smart. It's very strong. And the Hersa retreating back here. As we do see over here, the Halberdiers doing their best to fight off the raiding cavalry on this position. They're actually doing a very good job. They are not medium yet, but I mean, Halberdiers, they have an extra 10% bonus versus cavalry. They've only got 7 damage, which is a lot less than the hoplite, which starts with 8 damage, I believe. Also gets 10% bonus damage versus cavalry. But it just has a lot of armor as well, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, a lot of armor. 35% hack armor helps out heaps against those raiding cavalry. And hoplites apparently don't get a bonus versus cavalry, so it shows what I know. Why not? Why not? Give me my hoplites. Bonus versus cavalry. Seems good. Anyways, what can you do? Rapl retreating here when I feel like he probably should be fighting on this location, but not happening just yet. And Victor somehow managing to survive thus far, and he is looking like he's going to be able to get a fairly clean heroic age here, which is obviously incredibly important in this matchup. We talk about the Bogsviger a little bit already, but if you can get to Bogsviger in this matchup, then things start becoming a lot simpler in terms of the fights. But at the start of the game here, the Fuji is going to completely wreck you, as we do see a temple getting absolutely busted down there. But that's a big commitment from Rapl, who has also cut production as well, as he is trying to advance. It has in fact clicked up, but now he's going to be taking this fight, and Rapl is going to get absolutely diced in this fight, it seems, but those Halberdier are actually going to town here, fighting very nicely. The heroic age is on the way for Rapl. He is going through Zonkyu, and we do not see a heroic age for Victor just yet. But the big problem is that Rappl's now dropped down to 45 population. He's starting production again. He's still only got 2 military buildings. And this is scary for Rapl, stopping that production in the middle of nowhere there, and then getting caught out, having to fight underneath the tower fire as well as an army. And now the villagers are going to be getting taken out as well. He does get access to a very, very strong heroic age myth unit, and he's got 23 favor, so he might be able to produce another one in the Jiangxi. But he's giving Victor all of the advantage now. The Jiangxi does cost 25 favor, and he's at 23 favor, so he might be able to get that one there, as we do see the uproot getting cast immediately onto Victor's houses here. He's going to be losing what looks to be about 5 houses, so it's going to be really slowing down any sort of pressure that's coming in. The Jiangxi getting taken down by the Hersa. You've got to save this Jiangxi. It's such a high value myth unit, but it gets absolutely torn to pieces here as Victor is going to town on Rappel's Halberdier, as Victor has somehow, some way managed to make this matchup look playable here, as he's just completely carving through Rappel's Fuji, it would seem. And the Halberdiers getting taken out over here. We see the Chokunu coming in. Victor's trying to get his houses back up as fast as possible, I would assume. As you see the units getting garrisoned right now into their war academies. We do see that some terracotta soldiers being built by Rapl. Actually an interesting choice here, because there's no heroes really out anymore, as the Halberdiers all pop out for Rapl. Villagers getting taken down. The villager differential is not looking good for our Fuji hero Rapl, as he's pushing for 3 dead villagers here. Got some Chokunu in. Effectively, Rapl has just kind of abandoned the Immortals, which are incredibly strong, and he's not building villages anymore. He's forgot the villagers. He's forgot them. And Rappel's just very hard stuck. 40 population here, as the Throwing Axemen moving forward and getting destroying a lot of this, trying to push through, but this just doesn't quite happen here, as Victor hits the heroic age through Skadi, and that's going to be GG for Rapl, as Victor manages to win the Odin versus Fuji here. My golly gosh! I mean, this is the point I make. You can't just pick Fuji and automatically be amazing at Fuji. Fuji is not like Uranus in that Uranus is strong even if you don't know what you're doing. Fuji is not strong if you do not know what you're doing. Rapl's strategy here made a lot of sense, but he was caught out here when he didn't need to be here. The strategy effectively seemed like he was going to be using the uproot to really slow Victor down and then hit the Mythic Age with a really strong, great flood timing on a second gold mine, but getting caught out, loses all the units, loses any sort of footing on the map, and he's just on the defensive for the rest of the game, and Victor managed to make it work. Gets the first game. We'll go into game number 2 very shortly. If you guys are enjoying these games, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.